Crystal coming out on January 26, 2017, or for those of you who have used the Time Machine, already out on 3DS, comes a question. Is there anything special about it besides being able to shiny hunt Celebi, an easier way to catch Suicune, and updated Generation 2 graphics? Believe it or not, yes there is. So sit back, grab your bicycles, and prepare yourself for this episode of Trivia Tuesday surrounding a particular egg obtained from the daycare man, better known as the Odd Egg. Is an in-game event, similar to that of Togepi Egg given to you by Professor Elm's aid in Violet City Pokemon Center. However, unlike the Togepi Egg, the Odd Egg can hatch into one of 7 baby Pokemon: Pichu, Cleffa, Igglybuff, Tyrogue, Smoochum, Elekid, and Magby, each of which knowing the move Dizzy Punch, which each of these Pokemon cannot learn by normal means. Originally, in the Japanese version of Pokemon Crystal, players had to receive the event key item, Egg Ticket, via the Pokemon Mobile System GB, a device that was only ever released in Japan and allowed players to access a paid service using a mobile phone and the mobile Game Boy adapter. The system never saw the light of day outside of Japan due to the lack of standardized and cheap mobile phones at the time, and the fact that most young players would not have the means to access such a device. However, Nintendo did eventually shut down this service on December 14, 2002, thus discontinuing the Egg Ticket event in Japan. Despite international copies of Crystal unable to access the Pokemon Mobile System GB, the Odd Egg event was modified so players could simply talk to the daycare man and receive the Odd Egg. This event was of course 1 per save file, unless you can manage to pull off the clone glitch, which is much harder to do and can also lead to save file corruptions or bad Pokemon clones if done incorrectly. Otherwise, if players want all 7 Pokemon, they would need to trade the hatched Pokemon to another game, restart their save file, speed run to the Pokemon Daycare Center, save in front of the daycare man, proceed with the cycle of hatch the egg, check the Pokemon, then either trade said Pokemon over or soft reset the game and try and try and try again until the Pokemon you want hatches from the egg. And oh boy, that is so annoying at times. Once a Pokemon is hatched from the egg, it can have one of 2 different IV spreads: 0 attack, 0 defense, 0 speed, and 0 special, which produces a non-shiny Pokemon with Hidden Power Grass with a base power of 31. Alternatively, you can hatch a Pokemon with the IV spread of 2 attack, 10 defense, 10 speed, and 10 special, equating in a shiny Pokemon with Hidden Power Fighting with base 49. What also makes the Odd Egg Offspring special, besides the exclusive move Dizzy Punch and the extremely high shiny rate of 14%, unless you got the Japanese Egg Ticket event, which had a ridiculously crazy shiny rate of 50%. The happiness stat of the Offspring was set to 20, instead of the usual 120, meaning you'll need to pay a lot of visits to that hairdresser to keep those babies happy. On top of this, the Pokemon start with a total of 125 experience, which is the minimum experience needed for a level 5 Pokemon from the medium fast experience growth group. Due to Igglybuff and Cleffa falling under the fast experience growth group, these 2 Pokemon have an excess 25 experience due to the minimum amount of experience needed for level 5 is 100. Bringing the topic back to the international shiny rate, while the shiny hunt may sound extremely easy to do, keep in mind this is Generation 2 we're playing here, meaning no Flame Body, no Magma Armor, no hatching O-Power, no Roto Hatch, no Taurus Page Rider, no loops, absolutely no shortcuts, no easy way to hatch eggs at all. It's just you, your bike, and constantly going up and down the old Goldenrod Road, and maybe the occasional blue-haired gal who just keeps blocking your way because I don't know why. Why do I bring this up, you ask? It's because it takes roughly 11 minutes to hatch one egg. That's right, 11 minutes for one egg. Simply put, if it's not shiny, you gotta soft reset and do it all again until that glorious moment when that sparkling shiny Pokemon explodes out of that egg. Before I even started working on this episode, I sat down and played through Pokemon Crystal 3 times, due to the GameCube being horrendously horrible for the bad clone glitch. Trying to see what time period I was looking at to hatch a shiny, and the results were as followed. First shiny hatched on the first egg, which was a Magby. Second resulted in another shiny Magby on the second egg. By this point, I was thinking, this isn't too bad. Looking at about 30 minutes for this shiny. This is awesome! But on my last playthrough, the unspeakable happened. After 22 eggs, these shiny Pokemon finally appeared before me. May not sound like a lot of eggs, but remember, it's roughly 11 minutes to hatch the egg. This equated to me going up and down Goldenrod City for nearly 5 hours. So prepare something to keep yourself sane if you're going to attempt the shiny hunt for any or all of these Pokemon. Cause I didn't, and every soft reset felt like torture. Now that we got all of the technical mumbo-jumbo stuff out of the way, let's take a look at what you can possibly hatch from the odd egg and the chances of hatching said dizzy punching Pokemon. Firstly, you have both Cleffa and Igglybuff with a 16% chance of hatching, with their shiny variant having a 3% chance of hatching. Cleffa will hatch with the moves Pound, Charm, while Igglybuff will have Sing and Charm. Smoochum, Elekid and Magby each share a small 2% chance of being shiny. Conversely, their normal variant, the chances are as follows. Smoochum 14%, Elekid 12%, and Magby with a low 10%. In regards to their moves, Smoochum has Pound and Leak, Elekid rocks the Quick Attack and Leer, and Magby with Ember. Finally, taking the golden 1% chance of Sparkles is Pichu and Tyrogue, with Pichu having the tiniest chance of hatching in general with 8% and Tyrogue with 10%. Move-wise, Pichu will have Thundershock and Charm, while Tyrogue has Tackle. Thus, we come to the conclusion to this episode of Trivia Tuesday. Before I sign off, I'd like to quickly mention that these Pokemon will have 3 guaranteed 31 IVs and potentially more when transferred from Pokemon Gold, Silver or Crystal over to Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, meaning these Pokemon can be quite useful for competitive battle, whether they be shiny or not. I also highly recommend starting with odd egg shiny hunting if you are interested in learning how to shiny hunt Pokemon, due to the 14% shiny rate, making it a more bearable hunt compared to other shiny hunting methods. If you are also interested in watching the unedited footage of my shiny hunt experience with the odd egg, I've also left a link to my behind the scenes playlist on this video's end screen, and with that note, I sincerely hope you enjoyed this episode and found it both helpful and interesting. And until next time, this is Lady KrimZen saying ciao for now, but not forever. Ciao!